Winter in the Middle Ages wasn't just a season, it was a deadly force that shaped the destiny of entire villages. It slipped silently through every crack in every home, chilling the air, numbing the body, and testing the limits of human endurance. For countless families, winter wasn't a temporary hardship, it was a threat that claimed lives before spring returned. Medieval houses offered little protection from the brutal cold. Built from wood, mud, and straw, they were fragile enough that even a mild storm rattled the walls. Wind seeped through gaps, freezing the air inside. A small fireplace glowed in most homes, but its warmth barely reached the center of the room, leaving the corners coated with frost. Families huddled close to the fire, fighting for scraps of heat. Clothing didn't offer much relief either. Wool and leather garments helped, but they were no match for harsh medieval winters. Cold pierced every layer. Frostbite was constant. Many woke with stiff, lifeless fingers or numb feet that never fully recovered. People wrapped themselves in blankets and hides, but the cold always found a way through. Winter also meant famine. When snow buried the fields, fresh food disappeared. Animals stopped producing milk, and hunting became nearly impossible in deep, shifting snow. People relied solely on what they managed to store during autumn grain: dried meat, salted fish, and hard bread. If the harvest had been poor, winter turned quickly into a death sentence. Entire families starved before the first thaw. A single hearth fire determined who lived and who died. If that flame went out during the night, freezing temperatures could end a household within hours. Wood became more valuable than gold. Every log was saved, rationed, protected. When supplies grew low, families burned broken stools, tool handles, sometimes even parts of their homes to keep the fire alive. Children faced the harshest fate. Their small bodies struggled against the severe cold. Pneumonia, fever, and malnutrition spread rapidly. Many never survived their first few winters. Parents mourned quietly because survival demanded constant effort. There was no time to break down, no time to stop. Blizzards created a prison of snow. Roads disappeared. Forests turned into hostile white wastelands. Villagers often stayed inside for weeks at a time. A short walk to a well, a neighbor, or the woods could quickly turn fatal if visibility dropped or the cold overwhelmed them. Wells froze solid. Rivers turned to ice. Every drop of water required smashing through thick layers of frozen surface or melting snow over the fire. It was slow, exhausting, and never enough. Even basic survival tasks became battles. As winter dragged on, people grew thinner. Meals shrank. Bread became slices of slices. Grain was measured carefully, often down to the last handful. Families rationed everything, sometimes making impossible choices about who needed food most. Cramped, humid homes filled with smoke made sickness spread at terrifying speed. Coughs, infections, and fevers moved from one family to the next. Without medical knowledge, even simple illnesses turned deadly. Livestock suffered alongside humans. Animals froze or starved in barns when food ran out. Losing a cow or goat affected the entire family, not just through hunger, but through the loss of income and future food supplies. One dead animal could mean the end of a household. Predators roamed closer to villages as hunger drove them into human territory. Wolves followed travelers along forest paths, and packs circled farms at night, waiting for weakness. In the worst winters, humans and animals competed for the same bits of food. Fear ruled every night. Would the fire last? Would food run out? Would the roof collapse under snow? People slept lightly, knowing one mistake could cost their lives. Yet in the middle of hardship, medieval villagers relied deeply on one another. Sharing tools, warmth, and food wasn't kindness, it was survival. Communities that worked together endured. Those who didn't faded from history. Many saw winter as a spiritual trial. Priests preached endurance. Families prayed for mercy, warmth, and the strength to make it through one more day. Faith was a fragile shield against despair. People adapted however they could. They preserved food with salt, stored vegetables underground, dried herbs, insulated walls with extra mud and straw, and built wind barriers from scrap wood. Innovation wasn't optional, it was necessary. As food dwindled, behavior shifted. Neighbors became competitors. Thieves emerged. Families locked their doors at night, not to keep animals out, but to keep other humans away. Winter felt endless. Days were short, nights were brutally long. People counted weeks by the fading of their supplies. hoping, praying that warmer weather would arrive before starvation did. When the first signs of spring appeared, villages breathed again. Snow melted, streams flowed, birds returned, but the cost was visible. Empty homes, missing faces, fields of unmarked graves. Those who survived carried winter's scars forever. Surviving winter in the Middle Ages wasn't heroic. It was painful, exhausting, and terrifying. Every winter tested the limits of human endurance, and every spring reminded survivors how miraculous it was simply to still be alive.